Commission. Brian Hester is absent tonight, so I'm going to try my best to take lead here, and I'm sure I'll make a few mistakes, so just bear with me. First, we want to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Determination of order, we have that. Approval of the agenda. Everybody,
I'll move to approve it.
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
And then we're going to approve the minutes from the prior meeting. Got those in an email. Anybody have any questions on it? Okay, first,
I'll make a motion.
first by Marty,
I'll second it.
second by Wayne. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comment?
I don't think we have anybody. Other than the adjoining property owner won't have that. I don't think we have anybody other than adjoining property owner.
Thank you. Okay, no business, so we'll go straight to the request for approval of Phase 1 development of the Shadow Lake Plan Unit Development. Hi there.
Hi, good morning, or good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get these boards set up so we can make sure everyone can see, so there's no moment. Let's see if we can- Well, good evening. I'm here for the Phase 1 on this Shadow Lake development. I'm here with Dan Christiani, Chris Jackson, Josh Hillman, Keith Holtz with OHM, and myself, John Pasiga with OHM. We're the consulting engineers on the planning, zoning, and engineering for the project. We were here on June 13th for the rezoning on the overall PUD. And this was the graphic that was sent along to all the neighbors. This is showing the overall PUD development that was rezoned. Tonight, we're here to just talk about Phase 1, which is this part right through here. The rest of them are not, at this point, being talked about. They're not changing. They're being left as the rezoning. What we're really looking at tonight is the preliminary plan, or sometimes people call it a detailed development plan, for this Phase 1. And again, just to name it, it is this area here, bounded up and then back again, north being that direction, City Hall is over here. So 62 is this direction across the bottom. I want to make sure I get one here. So again, we're just talking about Phase 1, which is just this part right through here. We are not talking about Phase 2, Phase 3, or Phase 3 up that direction from High Jackson. 62 is here, High Jackson is there, just to note. So City Hall is over this direction. So again, we're just looking at this, and this is just our first phase, and it is just the detail for this section. We're not getting into any of the other sections at this point. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit about our uses. So we are looking to have uses talk about here regarding industrial warehouse and then also office. So again, I'm going to just point it out and name it. This is the industrial portion through here. This is the office section through here. And then this is going to be a part that's actually going to get brought over to Dan Christiani. So that will be more or less a buffer and some additional land for him. What I want to make sure that I'm up front and telling you all about is, although this is a continuation, we are also reaffirming the commitment that was made at the last meeting, which is to make sure that we have a good buffer along our perimeter of this phase. Again, I'll name it here. You got it? Yeah, okay. That buffer size varies from 40 to 50 feet, and in some cases much more. And that is meant to make sure that this work that we're talking about tonight is properly screened and buffered. So that is going to be with a berm, so that'll be soil, and then beyond that, landscaping to form a screen. Part of the reason why the shape has shifted a little bit is we are also dealing with an electrical easement, and in our discussions with them, they do not want us in their easement with any changes of grade. That affects them and clearances to the electrical lines. So for them, that's a critical matter. So because of that, we've actually bent the buffer, and it's actually closer to the buildings and further away from the surrounding landowners, which basically means it's doing its job screening better. So that is a little bit of an adjustment that we've had to make since our last discussion. Also, you'll see that some of these areas here that are also adjacent to High Jackson are actually in phase 3 at this moment. We're not really here to discuss those, in part because this one is on the other side of the electrical easement, and this one has a little bit of a change in grade. It's something we're just not going to get into at this moment. When this area or some of these areas get under discussion or further discussion, if there's any kind of an adjustment that needs to be made, we'll be making that properly with the right folks. We'll be meeting with Tony. If we need to come back here, we'll do that as well. Just to name some of the other things that might be a concern, for instance, stormwater being concerned, is to say that we have a lot of detail that we can show about that, but to name right now, we are actually going to be either matching or decreasing the discharge rate of stormwater from our site. So that means the water that's going to be leaving the site is going to be less than it is today as a farm. And the way we're doing that is we're going to hold a lot of that water on our site. So we have new detention ponds that we're going to form here and then down through here. This is an existing pond that will remain. That'll also be a part of that system so that we're able to hold on to the water, and therefore it'll only get released, let's say, after the rainstorm at a rate that is slower than what is going on right now as it leaves the site. So if that makes any sense to you, we're basically holding our water, and then after the storm, we're going to release it at more of a rate that's normal for that area. So it will take longer to get through that event after a rainstorm, but it's not going to cause any more water to rush to anyone else off-site. We're taking care of that on-site. Also to name that the roadway work, we're going to be starting here with Quality Court, and then that part will actually come to a new intersection, and then that will actually connect to 62. Some of those discussions are ongoing, but that will be the first part that will be built. Secondly, there will be a part of Shadow Lake Drive that is kind of a parallel to 62 that'll come down here to serve for the Dan Christiani headquarters. That's going to end in a temporary cul-de-sac for right now, and that will actually be the next part of it. And then the Christiani Parkway will get built out in sections as needed. Right now we're showing that this industrial stuff will actually be connected to the Shadow Lake. And so there's some multiple entrances and exits. The whole point is that the traffic is getting directed to 62. That's where they naturally want to go, and that's where the good connection is going to be made. There's discussions going on right now about making that a signalized intersection so that everyone can turn safely in and out and do what they need to do there. And again, as this again continues to develop, that's actually going to be a good, I think, intersection for the community as well, a safe one. So that's a part of what we're going to be addressing there. As for the buildings, we're looking right now to actually build this building, which is labeled as Building 1, and then this one, which is Building 2, first. And so those are going to be on the interior of the project area, and those are happening first. And again, the idea is that all that traffic is getting directed out 62. The next thing that will be going on, and that will start soon, is the Christiani headquarters office building, and then also their shop is moving here and relocating from their current location. So we're actually pretty excited about that. That's actually a very big move for them, and that those plans have been underway, and those will be filed shortly. And again, just so I'm naming it, the first thing to do is the rezoning and a general PUD. The next thing is what you're seeing tonight, which is a development plan. The next thing after that will actually be construction drawings having to deal with things like the headquarters building. So that's when there's more detail coming out, whether that's building shape, landscaping, buffering, screening, fencing, all those kinds of things. And so there's going to be more coming out on that shortly. If you don't mind, if you could show some of the screen. So we also have some drawings here that are a little more illustrative to look at.
So they can see.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you all see okay? Excuse me. So we want to give you a feel for what this first phase contains, and that is Dan Christiani headquarters. This is the office building showing the front entrance. This is lit at night, as we hope to have that lit. We really do want this to be good for the community. We're looking for buildings that are durable, long-lasting. This is an ongoing commitment of their firm to you all. This is actually showing the back of it. So they're going to have some patio spaces and also some windows added and so on to let in good natural light. And also a view, and again, I don't know if I can point to it, but you can see how there's a little pond there with a little feature to it. That is the existing pond. And so part of the relocation here is to take advantage of some of those natural resources to have a good view to use. There's also going to be, and you can see it right there, there's going to be a trail along that water edge, and that'll actually go from the park, which in this case is to the top of the screen, and connect it, and we're hoping to have a loop built beyond what was just in the park and actually have that come in through the site and along, again, a good natural feature like this pond. So again, just to be able to show you what this looks like, could you go up at all and see if we can see some of the daytime shots? Yeah, just to again show you how it's going to be oriented. So again, towards the bottom right, that's going to be actually the parkway that you come in the main entrance. And then that lines up with the main entrance to the building, visitor parking there to the right, and then around to the back here, you're going to be able to see that they have some good indoor-outdoor space as well. And again, what we're trying to show is that this is the level of architecture, the level of landscape that we hope to have throughout the entire development. One of the nice things about doing a PUD is it actually means that there's going to be an architectural review committee for this development before anything goes on out to the community. So in other words, they're going to make sure it's good before it comes to you all, before it comes to the community, before it comes for even building plans. And again, this is the kind of thing that we hope we can continue to work toward. Again, the building shape and nature and even color will change from one building to the next, but this is really just to show the quality that we're hoping to have. If you have any questions, that's great. Otherwise, I will sit down, allow any of the neighbors to express their point of view, and go ahead.
I've got one question maybe. Any concerns with either construction traffic or just traffic in general with High Jackson Road? It's a very narrow road.
Yes.
I know this first phase you're kind of dumping out into it, so just any thoughts on that? Any concerns with High Jackson Road in particular? So.
I think Josh.
Sure.
John, you clarify?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So we are a couple of traffic studies going on right now. The traffic study that's at State Road 62 and the proposed interchange. We're also having a traffic study done internal to our site to lay out what traffic flow will look like, what queue and stack looks like inside. All the while, we are in the process of dedicating right-of-way along High Jackson so that there's additional right-of-way there for any future road widening that happens. So all of the property that we have that abuts High Jackson, we're dedicating 25 feet on each side that we can control. So there's a piece where we have both sides of High Jackson, so it'll have a full 50 foot, but anywhere we control, we're dedicating 25 feet. We believe that the majority of construction traffic is going to go in and out via Quality Court. You'll have the occasional truck that's there because we have an access drive on High Jackson, but we're going to try to use Dan's driveway or Quality Court so that we're keeping the majority of that traffic off there. You'll see an occasional truck is going to go the wrong way, they're going to end up there, but we hope to minimize that impact and help and encourage that everything's using those other entrances. We actually feel very strongly that our development is going to help the traffic that's on High Jackson, giving a separate outlet for the existing residents that are there and allowing them a quicker route to 62.
Did you say the other night that the way you all are designing it, the flow is going to go to where it goes all the way around and back out?
Yeah, so we hope to have multiple access points internal to our site to get out to 62. Obviously, that's pending railroad and other items. But what Ms. Jackson is referring to, Dan Christiani and I met with a few property owners here on, I think it was Thursday night. We met last Thursday, talked over a variety of questions that the residents of Jordan Drive had compiled. So we think everything we're going to do will be better, but ultimately, we'll see once things start moving and we'll make adjustments as needed. So if you all are okay, I'd like to add just a little more commentary to Mr. Pasiga's presentation. So we are hoping with your all's approval that we're going to break ground in October. And I just wanted to kind of give everybody a schedule update because I know that's some of the questions. Our goal is to break ground in October on our office and shop, as well as to break ground in October on Quality Court. So we're going to start with Quality Court and really come into the middle while we're waiting on NDOT and railroad coordination and approval. Our construction plan documents are at the state for building permit approval. And we hope that we're going to have that really once the beams are off, we can start construction. Do you like that, Ms. Jackson?
I did.
Once the beams are off, we can start construction. Dan tells me we can't do anything until that's ready. So that construction is going to start. The 2 industrial buildings that John referenced, we hope to see start somewhere around April. And those 2 buildings, in terms of big industrial buildings, we think will be the first and really only 2 industrial for another year or 2. So in 2023, you're going to see our office and shop under construction. You'll see Quality Court, Shadow Lake, and Christiani Parkway, the first phase of Christiani Parkway, as well as the first 2 industrial buildings. And we think we'll take a break for a year or so regarding industrial buildings, and you won't see anything happen that next year. And then we'll see buildings 3 in 1 year and building 4 the next. So traffic studies underway. Should be done here in the next couple weeks. We've had a variety of meetings with NDOT and our consultant trying to work that out. Construction is going to start next month. We want to have a groundbreaking and hope everybody will join us in celebrating that. But we really believe that this project will be transformational for the city of Charlestown. But we want to make sure we're doing it right. So John made reference that you all will see us probably at the next 2 or 3 meetings. So for the residents that are here in the room, we're going to be back. We're bringing a subdivision plat. It's going to be basically what you see on these graphics, which lays out the land for our office and shop in the first 2 industrial buildings.
No, remember, don't say subdivision.
Right.
That's not what he means.
The word subdivision plat can be confusing. We're going to divide the property up on a plat, and that plat is going to be here for review, hopefully at the next meeting, along with a development plan, which is even more detailed. So every time we come back in right now on phase 1, we're coming back in providing more detail. That detail is going to match, for the most part, what is on this drawing, what was mailed out to everyone. We continue, if anyone needs to reach out, my email, cell phone, Jordan Drive neighbors I know have my cell phone. We're glad to meet, whether it's here in these meetings, whether it's on site, whether it's at our office or at a neighborhood meeting, anytime the neighbors want to meet. So we just want to make sure we're providing the information and that questions are getting answered as they go. I appreciate everybody's time. If you all need anything, let us know.
And do you have any other comments for us at this moment? Otherwise, we'll let anyone else speak.
I got a couple questions real quick. Along Dan Christiani Parkway, I guess,
Yep.
in Shadow Lake Drive, is there going to be sidewalks, or is it just going to be just a road?
So we're gonna have the road going in first, but we're also hoping to have a multi-use trail. So I guess you would say sidewalk, but a multi-use trail that actually forms and makes a loop and actually heads back towards the park as well.
Well, that
That's
connects 62 then.
over to 62. I don't know that we've got plans for it to connect to 62 at this moment. But again, this is early on.
So NDOT's gonna control what we're able to do at State Road 62. So as a part of our permit with NDOT, everything's gonna work through them and with the railroad. We're gonna do what they're going to allow us to do.
Yeah, I know with DNR, they have the Southern Trail, where you can connect
So,
to
oh.
parks and everything. So I was just wondering, that's a grant that y'all.
So our goal here is that the city is gonna have a 70-acre park right next to this.
Right.
We want to have an 8-foot wide multi-use path that comes out of that park, ties into our industrial, ties into our office, comes up to Shadow Lake, comes to Christiani Parkway, ultimately goes over to the residential that's on the other side of High Jackson. We're going to do what we can to connect internal. Now we can't control
Right.
outside, but we very much believe that's going to be a great amenity for us and for the neighbors and everyone around.
Okay. And next question. On 10, where the berm is, will that be in the first phase? I mean, will that be done?
Yes, the soil will need to get moved because again, a lot of what we're hoping that's topsoil will actually be saved and made and used for that berm. So when you talk about construction, topsoil and anything, for instance, that had to do with organics, with cropping and everything else, we have to move that off to the side in order to have good stable ground to build on.
Okay.
So one of the uses is actually to put that actually into the berm.
Okay, and then on the berm, is it just going to be a grass berm, or will it have like bushes on top of it, or what do y'all expect?
Right, so we're gonna have a mix of larger trees and evergreens to make sure that there's a good continuous screen along that. So it's actually going to be both the soil that forms that berm to begin with. Again, we're hoping for about 6 foot high, it's about my height. And then actually have the trees get planted in such a way that they actually march up and down that berm. So again, they're not gonna look like some kind of, impenetrable fortress, but instead look more like a screen. So we're hoping that it actually, over time, will look more natural. But again, I want to make sure we're saying that part of that will be evergreen, so it isn't like you're going to lose everything in the wintertime. So we're going to have a combination,
Right.
a treatment through there.
Okay, and then my last question, I'm sorry, it's long-winded. Your little pond that's out there, it's about 12, 15 feet deep, I believe.
Okay,
And is there any way that you can put a dry hydrant there for the fire department?
interesting. We can look into such a thing. We're going to have ongoing conversations with the fire department regarding things like fire safety. That actually would be a pretty easy way to deal with that. So I think we can look into it for sure.
Okay.
We'll look into it.
As a part of our whole design, we've met with the fire department, met with JP, and we're continuing to meet with the water company, fire department to make sure that everybody's needs are met as a part of the whole design that comes through.
Right. Okay. Yeah, just, the way our water systems are around here, sometimes they can fail. And that's easy water there, they can pump right out.
That's a very good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you.
Do you have any questions from the public?
I'd just like to say that I think of all the people I know, and I've been around a lot longer than a lot of people in this room, Danny Christiani and his group are doing one of the finest jobs I've had for Charlestown, Indiana. I think we've come a long way, and I've watched it happen, and I'm so thrilled that we're actually doing it the right way. They're taking their time. You all are being villagers, is that the word? But I'm just really proud of the whole setup here, and I know it's bringing together farmers, it's bringing together a lot of different facets, and I think it's going to be wonderful. Good.
I agree. Anybody else? I agree with her. I think that they've been very conscientious about how it affects everybody, not just then with the city, the neighbors out there and where the growth is going to come from. So thank you all for doing that. And I think you're going to be great community partners. So, all right. So I guess we need to take a vote. Entertain a motion to take a vote.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There we go. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Welcome. Okay, next on the agenda is the request for approval of replat for Forest Edge Development Project. Mr. Pfeiffer's going to start it off.
Thank you, Jeff. For the record, I'm Greg Pfeiffer. I'm an attorney, previously in private practice, just started full-time at River Ridge, but told the mayor I'd stay on until we got this project wrestled all the way to the ground across the finish line. So I think these are the project that you just heard, and this project can be truly transformational for the benefit of the city of Charlestown, its citizens now and in the future. This part of a zoning approval is probably one of the simplest zoning approvals that can be sought and granted. Basically what we're doing is we're taking 14 parcels of property that the city or the redevelopment department have acquired through time and combining them into one single lot. Usually when you do a subdivision plat, you're taking a large piece of land and dividing it into small lots, and then you got to make sure you meet all the requirements of the ordinance. Here we're just doing one lot, so there's really no issue as to any standard of your subdivision control ordinance or this zoning district that we would need to demonstrate that this complies with at this time. So with that, as you know, a plat approval is a ministerial act, so unless somebody can show we don't meet one of those standards, it is supposed to be approved. I'm glad to answer any questions, but I don't think you need to hear me talk a long time. You'd much rather hear the guys from Denton Floyd talk about once this gets fully approved and going, what are you going to get? So I think that'll be the more exciting part of the presentation.
Do we have someone from Denton Floyd?
Well, they're the next agenda item.
Oh, so this is, we're just doing now the plat.
Correct,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Just,
Okay.
just a question, we, have a motion on it.
I mean,
I'll make a motion.
a second.
I'll second it.
Okay,
And at some point, oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead and take your vote first. and
All
I'll-
in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We'll
Go
click on
ahead,
the
sir.
trigger. So, at some point, so basically this is a primary plat approval. There has to be a secondary plat approval. Do you do that administratively, Tony?
administrative.
So this won't need to come
No.
back to this board as
No.
long as it's consistent with this
Right.
plat?
Correct.
Which it will be, so, okay. Very good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right, next we have the request approval recommendation for rezoning from B1 to a PUD Forest Edge Development Project.
And to let everybody know, the original request was for an R4, which is multifamily. Our comprehensive plan asked, to look for PUD as much as a planned unit development is a combination of, commercial, residential, single-family, multifamily. But in this particular case, there's multifamily, but there would be so many variances requested because of the development that it's best to make it a planned unit development. Plus, it leaves it open if they get so far, they said, hey, we want to put some commercial there in a certain spot in the front on 62 or something, it leaves them that option to come back to the board and say, okay, without getting another rezoning. Because this rezoning gets heard here and then sent to the city council for their approval. We make a recommendation, so that's why I changed it to a planned unit development and advised them to do so.
Thank you, Tony. Good afternoon. I'm John Campbell with Heritage Engineering. With me tonight is Clayton Pace. Clayton is the president of development for Denton Floyd. Denton Floyd is a local real estate development company that has done numerous projects in the southern Indiana area, as well as grown into a multi-state development firm. I think that additionally they have some more projects planned here in the town of Charlestown. So I think Tony clarified the kind of the clarification of the PUD or the PD component of this. The true purpose of the PUD is to allow the development to be integrated into the heart of the city or the downtown area by allowing the 4-story building while being placed on site in a way that connects both to the town as well as creates the street wall along Highway 42. And that's what you can see here with this preliminary plan,
60.
or Highway 62, the preliminary plan, and then the building here. So the components of the building, we have 204 apartments. There is 2 3-story buildings with 24 units each, and that is identified here along the lower portion along Highway 62. And then we have the larger 156-unit building centrally located, and that is a 4-story building. Additionally, there is a clubhouse centrally located with a very nice amenity area. One of the things that Den Floyd does is a resort-style community and resort-style clubhouse. Components of their project is very heavily landscaped. They do include a pet wash and a dog park area. As I mentioned, it's a courtyard design, which you can see here, and this begins to show some of those amenities. Those amenities include a community room within the clubhouse, a fitness center, a mailroom, and a cyber cafe for the residents. The clubhouse is heavily landscaped. The pool deck amenities include a generous seating area of lounge chairs, cabanas, hammocks, and poolside rain garden. Additionally, there are fire pits located for the residents. That is kind of to the bottom there. And then additionally, it has the arbor or gazebo there. The buildings themselves, and Clayton, if you want to flip through, they are constructed of a maintenance-free exterior with a brick and hardy plank siding material. There is no vinyl proposed. And the specifics of the PD, as Tony mentioned, it kind of allows us to adjust that R4 zoning because the R4 zoning is truly for a residential or more of a suburban type setting. This is more integrated into the town. So part of your packet, and at Tony's suggestion, we went through and kind of identified for your benefit the portions that are changed from the R4 zoning to what we're proposing to do. For the most part, they're minor changes, dimensional changes, things like that. I can certainly run through this line by line if you need me to, but I suspect you've had an opportunity to look at it. The main things that I do want to clarify, though, when you get to item number 6, which has to do with landscaping, I do want to clarify that while we've adjusted some of the setback standards, because again, we want to be integrated into the community, the number of plants being proposed, the types of plants, the locations of the plants, we have not modified that at all. It is the intent of the developer to plant that in its entirety. And then additionally, as part of that landscape requirement, fences are required adjacent to any residential properties. So we do intend to do that, or we will be doing that as part of this project directly abutting when our property yard abuts a residential yard. So the fences won't be located along any roadways or alleyways, but it will be adjacent to those residences. Other than that, I think you'll see that we've more or less adhered to the R4 zoning. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
And we haven't had a chance to address with the audience out here, if you would like us to, before, if you all have any questions, is we didn't do the electronic version. So if y'all give us the opportunity just to kind of explain to the audience the same thing that we just explained to you guys. Okay, great. So as John was saying, this is our development plan.
Of course, you have Highway 62, which will be improved according to what we submit into NDOT. Basically, you're going to have 3 lanes through here that match up on either side. You know, that's been a real throttle of bringing it down to a concern, safety concern here. So part of our development will be, again, to integrate with NDOT what they're doing for improvements, as well as what we're going to be doing improvements. Because most of the traffic, as we all know, comes through Highway 62. Even though we'll have different outlets proposed throughout, mainly the traffic's coming through here. As John said, we have 2 outbuildings, an A and a B building. Basically, those are they A and Bs? Okay. 1, 2. or
Type
both?
doesn't matter, that's just the way we label them.
Okay, all right.
Building A, Building B, and Building C.
Okay,
On
so
the-
you'll have 3 stories here, which is, let me put it this way so you can see it. You'll have 3-story building out along Highway 62. You see in here, we've done it such that, as he says, it's first story is brick, the other 2 are your cement board. It's all maintenance free. We want to have it a more neighborhood feel, so we have proposed the colors in here to not be to opposition, but more inviting to what a neighborhood would be. Coming back here, this is our wrap building, where you'll see that we have our clubhouse, our amenity areas, the parking. We've tried to, we think we have achieved by designing it up against any of the residential areas. So we would try to wrap it in our wrap design so that all of our living quarters, the buildings, face Highway 62. And then, as John said, anything that's adjacent to a property line that's with residential will all have a fence. Go down here. We'll have a fence that's 6-foot fence according to what your regulations are. Now, in the alleyway, it will not, but we're maintaining that alleyway. And then Madison Street, Harrison Street, all those, I think there's proposed improvements for that. And then going back to what it looks like. So we're very proud of how the clubhouse and the amenities will be. So you're basically looking at it from this standpoint. So this is the wrap building across here. Here's our clubhouse, our resort style pool, all the sitting area, all the amenities around it. We feel it's a really nice feel. It's a community area. We want people that's living here to feel that they're part of a neighborhood as well. And we position it so that the pool is on the west. As we all know, the sun sets in the west, so it'll be coming across here so that people can enjoy the sunshine as they're there. So, in short, that's what we basically told the board here, and I just wanted to have an opportunity to tell you all as well. I'll leave it here because they may have some questions. John, on that.
And maybe to just clarify, I think as Tony noted in the staff report for the PD rezoning or PUD rezoning, we will be coming back for the more detailed plan, which certainly captures a lot of what Clayton just presented tonight. But we felt like as part of the PUD rezoning, you needed to kind of see the big picture to understand the overall intent. With that, I'll see if any neighbors have any comments or
We'll see if they have
or
board
we
has
have
any
to answer
comments.
any questions you may have.
I can't tell on the plan, I think it's actually a question you had with the other, are there sidewalks that are tying this development to the town?
So we have proposed, flip this back around. So we have proposed sidewalks internally to collect, there's a very extensive sidewalk collection system internally to bring everyone to the focal point. And then additionally, we've got sidewalks that exit up to the end of our property on Madison Street, as well as we've proposed a sidewalk along Harrison Street up to the corner of our property. And then additionally, we're proposing to bring a sidewalk out along Depot Street. But beyond the limits of our property, we haven't gone beyond that.
We are reconnected from High Street,
Right, that was
Main Street, all those are
Just want to make
being,
sure we're connected.
they're in the comprehensive plan to redo those roads.
Marty, the redevelopment commission has executed an agreement with HNB to do the improvements on Madison Street.
Oh, okay.
And High Street on that section will be done as a part of our community crossings grant this year. So those are also in the works outside, so the entire project will come up.
Good, good. Along Highway 62, is there going to be any type of fence or anything? Or is it just going to be the landscaping that you have there?
Right now, we've only identified that to be landscaped along that roadway. I don't think you have
No.
any intentions to do anything.
That would actually be an NDOT
Right.
thing, because we're working with NDOT on the crossings and stuff there. So.
Okay. And that was my other question, is it's just going to be 3 lanes to turn? Because I've worked so many fatals right in that area, especially on this last end. There are a lot of rear end collisions there, so you're just going to have a left turn lane and a passing lane?
So when Clayton described the 3-lane section, it's really 1 lane of traffic each direction with the center turn lane
Right.
for turning. And it's already, I think, pavement-wise, there's already kind of a 3-lane section here. It's not striped that way. NDOT has a plan to do that and then continue that on to the northeast. And then additionally, there's already a 3-lane section here. So we've just been tasked with connecting these 2 projects together.
What it is, Harold, is the NDOT is actually making changes down at the light.
Mhm.
And then Clayton and I and a group of people have met with NDOT and how that's going to flow together, because there's, they got a crossing, I guess, over to the other property.
Right.
Yeah, we're working with NDOT pretty close on that to make sure everything flows safe. They're aware of everything too, but it all just kind of fell together at the same time.
Right. And then, well, once you're doing that, at least from Dan Christiani's
Right.
to 62, or to 3 is a 55 zone, that needs to go down to at least 45 for there.
Well, they talked about decreasing the speed there anyway.
Yeah. Okay, back to this, your 4-story, how far is it on the backside where the parking lot is? Yeah, how far is that from the building to the parking lot, I guess?
From the face of the building to the
Yeah.
parking lot. And I will clarify, this was an earlier concept. These are actually connected now, and this piece doesn't show up. So if you're looking at it in the printed version or the computer version, it doesn't show it that way. But we have a 5-foot sidewalk and then approximately 10 feet to the closest point of the building.
That's 15 and then another 10.
But
so
if
it's
you
25.
kind of follow the way the building has some insets and offsets, there's easily another 8 to 10 feet there, so.
I'm just worried about if a fire truck is parked in front of it and there's a collapse zone. If it's 4 stories, which is about 60 feet, it should be back. Will the fire truck be in the collapse zone?
What do you consider the collapse zone? What is that, how far
One
back?
and a half times the height of the building. So if the building's 60 feet, it'll be what, another 90 feet,
Okay,
from the edge of the building to where the fire truck would be, or
okay, so you said it's another 9 feet? 90.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how tall your building is. It's 40.
I think we had identified it as 55 maximum height.
Okay,
So
so
60.
yeah, 60 feet.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you got enough room there or not.
So you need 60 feet to
One
be able to
half.
have a.
The fire department does, because if
Yeah.
your fire truck's sitting there, they don't want the building to fall on it.
Yeah, you need 1.5.
Yes.
And we can certainly look into that. I will say there is the public roadway out here, which could also be used for firefighting purposes.
Well, I'm looking at a ladder truck trying to get up to the 4th story.
Wanting to be in
Right.
closer to the building, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because
just,
there's a fence there right along High Street in Harrison, right? Right there.
No, these are not the areas we were going to do.
You're not fencing
No, because it's
that.
not adjacent to a property. So it's where the property lines
more so that this part is adjacent to roadway or roadbed.
Okay.
So. Any other questions?
Any questions from
Well, let's let the, yeah.
some homeowners?
Oh, I have a-
Yeah, so stand up, state your name again.
I'm Jennifer Kennedy. I live on High Street. I had a question about if they changed the grade, because it looks like the building and the parking lot are right there close to, there's an alleyway, and it's already, when it storms, there's a lot of water, and it's already like washing out that road. And I'm wondering if they changed the grade. I'm worried that all of that water now is gonna go into my yard because it's lower.
Do you mind come out and point
Yeah,
to where
so,
you
I am, so High Street, I'm on the corner here.
Okay.
And so this alleyway that's here, right now, it's,
Okay.
like I said, the water just really rushes down, so I'm
Clayton, I can
wondering-
actually answer a little bit of that if you
Okay.
don't have a clear answer yet. So, as a part of the redevelopment efforts on High Street that was put in for the Community Crossings Grant, they're redoing the catch basins and drainage work on High Street as well. So they're very aware of the low-lying area and the grade issue, and that will be upgraded when they do the paving project with the Community Crossings next year.
Okay.
As a part of addressing this with this property.
Okay, because I think part of that, there's like a ditch area
Yes.
that's on that property.
Yes, so part of that is also, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have agreed to do a drain, like actual piped drainage, correct?
Oh,
So I'll
yes.
let you take
Yeah,
over from there, but on
absolutely.
High Street, we're gonna build that in when we do the paving,
Okay.
and then they have a
That's
plan
correct.
for that as well.
In what she was mentioning with the on-site drain pipes, we are going to collect any water that comes onto our site, route it through underground storm drainage. We've shown a detention area here directly adjacent to Highway 62. So the water will be able to continue to flow through, be collected, and then released along the roadway at an acceptable rate to the state.
As you can see, the open drainage will no longer exist. We'll have that covered over and we'll pipe that.
Because there is a spring that runs through there.
Mhm.
I used to crawl around in
So my only other question would be, can the neighbors get a pass to go in the pool?
Yes, the
You're the
same
fourth one to ask.
So I have a question, not as mayor, but as a adjacent property owner, because this one affects
Well,
me
now we
too.
can beat you up now.
Yeah, so, that you mentioned fencing with any of the things, and so my property is actually, here, right? And so I'm looking at a dog park. I already have a dog park, if you know me, I already have a dog park, just in my backyard with my dogs. But I don't have a fence, and so you're saying you're putting up a fence, but is this like a chain link fence? Is this a wire, like what kind of fence? Is this a privacy wall fence?
So
What's this gonna-
the code, the Charlestown City Code requires a 6-foot high solid wood type of fence. So what it would be a wood fence. It won't run, it will not run along
The
Madison
road,
Street.
but on the yards.
But all of the property boundaries that directly butt these single-family homes, it will run along those properties as well as along some of these multi-families here.
Okay. Are there any others down here that are affected, or is if they have parking lots, how is that?
I think there could be some opportunities for some fencing here for the homes that kind of back up right along Depot Street, but for the most part, once you get down here, it opens up to where it's kind of street frontage.
Sure.
And then I had identified for their benefit doing a privacy fence between the convenience store and their development, and that would be the extent of it. And then it will be, as I mentioned earlier, fully landscaped, so we're not asking for any leniency in the city's landscape requirements.
And the dog park is not a dog daycare. It's a dog park.
Okay.
Okay,
Not
big
the dog
difference.
daycare.
Well, yours maybe, we may complain about you, but.
It's chaos.
But so it is there for their use, for walking and enjoying with, it's a
Okay.
dog park.
Sure.
It's not a dog care.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can crawl around it all you want.
We go this way. Susie Walker. I can't tell. Well, I mean, I know where I live. This High Street, I think I'm right there. Yeah, that's the alley.
Yes.
That's Harrison Street, basically.
Mhm.
So there'll be no fence on back, behind this, correct?
Correct.
So is Harrison Street gonna remain open? Are people still gonna be able to drive on it?
Oh, yes.
So how's that gonna impact the crazy people that drive down past the alley and whip through that curve and shoot out now? When you add 400 apartment or 300 apartment? It's so narrow, you know, I mean, they use that alley as a thoroughfare now, with no
The alley
apartments
behind
there.
your house.
The alley behind my house.
Okay.
And the little section of what everybody calls the alley, but it's legally, it's Harrison Street.
Right.
But then
But
the
they-
alley, does it not just, where does it go from this
It
point?
continues on.
It turns in, yeah,
It connects to
Right.
it's
Harrison.
Harrison Street. This is the alley. Everybody thinks this is really Harrison Street, but, I mean, the garbage truck can hardly get through now.
Yeah, so we are connecting at Harrison Street, but it'll be like an intersection connection. We're not proposing to make any changes to that alley.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Impact
the
it.
people that live there are gonna use that alley. They're gonna cut through to get through back uptown.
We're gonna make improvements to High Street that are gonna make them wanna come out of here and go High Street or come out here and go Harrison.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
call you when they start running.
You would anyway, you do it
When they
anyway.
run in my yard, I mean, I've had semis in my yard,
Yeah.
and they're everything in my
They-
yard, because they get down there and they don't make
They
the
don't know what
turn.
they're doing, yeah. But the goal was to try to divert them here
So,
and here.
This.
There's no direct connection
There's no connection
to,
there.
to your alley. This is
Only-
a-
only
Is a
this
bump
one.
out, okay, so
This
this
is
is a bump out.
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah,
That's
so
correct.
this is a bump out, so
That's
that's
right.
my backyard. I mean, I live,
Right,
right
right,
there.
right. Yeah, but there won't be access from that parking area to the alley.
right, but that will be fenced, because it butts up against my yard.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. And that will be fenced, because that butts up against Sharon's yard.
Yeah, it looks like I'm
Sure,
all
sure.
closed in with a 3-story building right in
Yeah.
front of me
You-
and a convenience store right next to me.
Where, come show where
She's
you.
Well,
right
I'm
there.
not sure, I didn't get a map.
Well, if you're
She's
right
right here.
I'm like, right, that's my garage, you can't really see it, that's my garage.
Yeah,
Sharon's
so you're
like
right here.
there.
So you'll have a,
That's church.
you guys are saying there'd be a fence here?
Yes.
Yes.
And then green space, a parking lot, and then buildings down
That's
on the
correct.
highway.
Yes.
Yeah, so a building's gonna be right in front of me.
Well, this is a pretty good distance between here and here.
So that's really close to 60.
Yes.
It's on 60.
Here's 62.
Behind
That's
you,
correct.
is she
And you're right
beside
here.
you or? I'm
She's
sorry.
right here, Ruthie. She's right here. So there'll be a fence, green space, parking lot, and the building on 62. She's here. And Susie's there.
And
40, 60, almost 100 feet between that property line and the
Completely
building.
ruined. And can I get I was going to ask, I didn't get the second register letter with the.
She didn't get one that had this on it.
She's kind of behind
She's
you.
next to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're at the powder cake and looked out the door, she's that.
I didn't get the second letter.
Put it in layman terms.
References we all know.
But she's up here with me.
She's like in this. And there's gonna be a 6-foot fence.
Mhm. But from the property line to the building is nearly, what do you think, 100 feet? You got 20, 40, 60 of a parking lot. And whatever that distance is of landscaping,
So the fence is going along the road.
about 90 feet
From the property line to the actual building.
building.
So I get to look out to see the building.
You'll see more of the fence than you will building.
I lost my beautiful views. Could I get a copy of that second registered letter? I don't know.
I didn't send those out, did you, Tony?
We sent them out, yeah. You get the first one,
I got the first one, I didn't get the second one.
the both went to the same address, but I can get that for you.
Okay.
Did you all have any questions?
Is this the right time to ask about noise ordinances? I'm just wondering about if they're putting in all these condominiums and stuff, is there a noise ordinance that would be, because we live directly behind the parking lot, and there's plenty of room over the parking lot, and I think that, and it's probably gonna be fine, I'm just curious, because we're so used to having that be a completely empty and quiet space.
We do have an noise ordinance, and it would be enforced.
Because of that. Okay, that's cool. We're just so used to it being peaceful back there. Crazy, but peaceful.
I guess along that line too, are there any mechanicals on that side that would run constantly as a?
No mechanicals on the side. Now, you will, because that's the wrap building, and let me explain it this way. This is the wrap building, all the
Yes.
mechanical units are on the roof.
Got it.
Okay, now, these two buildings, they're around the perimeter of it,
Got it.
on ground level, but these are up on the roof. And what I was explaining to them is that with the wrap building, the mechanicals are up on the roof, these are on ground level like you would a house.
Yeah, how noisy are the units on the roof? Are they just, they're heating air units?
Yes, well,
Like your
yeah, we'll call them a packaged unit, so they have a housing, steel housing that's around them. Now, it's one perspective. I think they're very quiet,
okay,
okay? So it's like a condenser that you have on the ground at your home.
okay.
And they have all kinds of, springs that allow it to be quiet. But I couldn't tell you it's absolutely no sound. But I also know that we have yet to have any noise ordinance be violated.
Yeah, and if you was asking about the noise ordinance, like I said, we would enforce that, so right now, at 11 o'clock, they wouldn't able to, to have a party at the pool at 11 o'clock to 11:30 past that time, and so it would be our standard ordinance. Not, and I'm sure they're gonna have some kind of restrictions on that stuff. So,
But even if they did, it's within, that's where the good,
that's-
that is all, I'll say, shadowed by having the wrap around it that keeps that noise in there and not outward. And so, and then if they do have anything, it's usually within the clubhouse, but rarely do they have anything but that would be part of our rules and regulations to meet the ordinance.
We've had a couple of, VFW karaoke parties that have gone, a little over, and sometimes, it's a little loud, so that's cool. Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or? No? All right, we need a motion to approve the rezone from 1P1 to a class B. Motion. First, have a second, all in favor? All right. Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't have any other business, anybody else have anything?
Motion adjourned.
Got that motion? Got that second?
That's the quickest one you had.